Hello students, today we are covering chapter 8.1, Circles and Circumference. So follow along with me in your textbook beginning on page 318. We're going to start with our 8.1 vocabulary and key ideas, so please write this down and draw this circle here. This circle is the set of all points in a plane or a flat surface that are the same distance from a point we call the center. So in the center, all the way around the circle, all points will be equal distance. The radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circle, as you see here in red. And the diameter is the green line that passes through the center of the circle to show the distance across the circle. The radius and diameter. The diameter of a circle is twice the radius. We call diameter D and the radius R. The radius, or R, of a circle is 1/2 of the diameter, or D. So diameter can be seen as 2 times the radius, and the radius can be seen as the diameter divided by 2, or cut in half. So pause to write this down. Example 1, finding a radius and a diameter. The diameter of a circle is 20 feet. We need to find the radius. So we use the formula radius equals diameter divided by 2. We know that diameter is 20 feet, so 20 divided by 2 gives us a radius of 10. So the radius equals 10 feet. And if you look at it by cutting this in half, the distance here would be 10 feet. So from the center to the outside is the radius. Looking at B, the radius of a circle is 7 meters. Find the diameter. Well, diameter is the distance all the way across through the center. The formula for diameter is 2 times the radius. So if we know the radius is 7, 2 times 7 equals 14. So the distance all the way through the center, let me realign that. There we go. The distance all the way through the center is going to be 14 meters. Now I'd like you to try numbers 1 and 2 on your own. The definitions and key ideas continued on page 319 also need to be written down. The distance around a circle is called circumference. Compare it to the perimeter of like quadrilaterals or triangles. The ratio of circumference over diameter is the same for every single circle, and it's represented by the Greek letter pi, or this symbol. The value for pi is approximated as 3.14, or a fraction 22 over 7. And there's a study tip here. When the radius or diameter is a multiple of 7, it's easier to use 22 over 7 since you can cross cancel. So use that for your estimate of pi. Now getting back to our key idea, circumference of a circle is equal to pi times the diameter, or pi times twice the radius. So there are 2 formulas here that you will need to write down and remember. C equals pi times diameter, or if you know the radius, C equals 2 times pi times the radius, since 2 times the radius is the same thing as the diameter. Pause to continue to write this down. Example 2 is finding circumferences of circles on page 319. So for A, find the circumference of the flying disk. Use 3.14 as your approximation for pi. Well, we know circumference equals 2 pi r. So now we substitute. We know pi is going to be 3.14 times the radius, which is 5. When you multiply those 3 numbers together, I'm okay if you use a calculator for this, you should get 31.4 inches. Sorry about that. Let's fix it. So the distance all the way around this circle here, if you could stretch it out, it'd be 31.4 inches long. Now we have to find the circumference of the watch face. This time it says use 22 over 7 for pi. And if you notice, this is a distance of 28, which is a multiple of 7. You're going to see what happens in just a moment. So now for example B, we have a diameter here. This line all the way through the center is the diameter, and it's 28 millimeters. So all we have to do is multiply pi 22 over 7, which is the same thing as 3.14, times the diameter, which is 28. And if you notice, 7 goes into 28 4 times, so those cross cancel. And now all you have to do is multiply 22 times 4, which is 88, and it is in millimeters. So the distance all the way around this watch is the circumference, which is 88 millimeters. Now I'd like you to try on your own 3 through 5. Example 3 is estimating a diameter. The circumference of the roll of caution tape decreases 10.5 inches after a construction worker uses some of the tape. Which is the best estimate of the diameter of the roll after the decrease? So we know the circumference started out at 31.4, but then they used some of the tape, so we subtract the 10.5 that they used. So now the new circumference is going to be, let's do the subtraction here, about 20.9 inches long. It's not asking us to find the circumference, it says find the diameter, and it wants us to estimate. So to do this, we know the formula for circumference is pi times diameter. We know the circumference here is 21, estimating, since that's what it says to do. So I'm going to put in 21 instead of 20.9, equal to, now 3.14 is approximately 3 times the diameter. When you divide by 3, you get the diameter is approximately 7 inches. So the best answer would be B. Now I'd like you to try number 6 on your own. And now example 4, finding the perimeter of a semicircle region, or a semicircular region on page 320. A semicircle is 1/2 of a circle. Find the perimeter of the semicircular region. Now looking at this picture, you see that the distance across, or the diameter, is 6 meters. The distance around the curved part, this is half a circle. So to find the circumference, we know the diameter. Circumference equals pi times diameter. But it's only half of a circle, so we're going to divide it by 2 to cut it in half. So now all you have to do is substitute the numbers you know. C equals 3.14 for pi times 6, divide it by 2, and you will get the circumference for a semicircle is going to be 9.42, and it looks like it's in meters long. Now the perimeter also needs to add, this was half the circle here. The tricky part here is not forgetting to add this back into the original equation. So we have to add the 6 meters at the end. Now we can answer the question, find the perimeter of this semicircular region. Since it wants to know the perimeter, perimeter will be the circumference plus the 6, which is going to equal 15.42 meters. And that's your final answer. Right now, I'd like you to try 7 through 9 on your own. And now your exit ticket. A peso has a diameter of 21 millimeters. What is the radius of the peso, and what is the circumference of it? So go ahead and try to solve those. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.